Regen Rovers is back! The Regen Rovers adventure continues today with episode 170 in the series. It is the start of season 19. So, for those of you that maybe haven't watched the last few episodes, we almost won the Premier League last year. We did very well in the Champions League, and I thought it was unfinished business. We want to continue. I want to win the Premier League. I'd love to win the Champions League too. But of course, Football Manager 2020 is out now. That's why I've had a couple of weeks off. I've done my Red Bull Salzburg series. I'm planning other things, obviously, with FM20. But I've returned to Regen Rovers today. I've played the pre-season over the last couple of days. And the future plans for this series is there will be a video every now and then. There's no schedule, there's no promises. It could be, I might release one video and then 3 days later release another. But then there might not be one for 3 weeks after that. So it's just going to be sporadic. And that's the best I can offer with this series. But it's better than nothing, isn't it? And I know there's lots of you that have enjoyed the journey so far and would love it to continue. So it's going to continue. So in today's episode, we're going to be playing our first Premier League game of the season. We're taking on Leeds, who we actually played last year, I think, on the opening day of the season, if I remember correctly. Yes, I am right. Oh, I have to tell you something. I've just been reminded after seeing that Mark Ball testimonial pop up. So Mark Ball, legendary striker, everyone knows him. I was driving in Winchester this morning. I just dropped Jenny off at work today because she had the dentist. And I was behind a van and I thought, that looks like Mark Ball. The name Mark Ball was on it. I don't know what business it was because it was very brief. He turned in and he turned off again. But there's definitely someone in Winchester, or was working in Winchester, called Mark Ball. Some sort of, it was a white van. It had his phone number on and stuff. If I wasn't driving, then I would have been able to take a picture of it. But unfortunately, I wasn't. But what a coincidence. Mark Ball, we'll pretend it's Mark Ball. I mean, perhaps he's part of the Jack Young plumbing empire at this point in time. 2019, of course. It's a long time ago. Anyway, I digress a bit there, but I thought you'd like to know. So, I've spent pre-season doing a lot. But I think some big news is the fact that we're up to 4.5-star worldwide reputation. We have come a hell of a long way. Of course, we've qualified for the Champions League again this season by finishing second last year. So where are we predicted to finish, I hear you ask? Well, we're still only predicted to finish 7th, despite finishing second last year, getting to the quarterfinal of the Champions League, only finishing a couple points behind Spurs in the league. But I suppose the game still underestimates us a bit. We're still expected to finish behind the big 6. But surely we'll finish in the top 4 again. I feel like I've improved the squad a bit. I've actually signed loads of players this summer. Lots of young ones, which probably will never develop. But I just was wary of the fact that we had such a small under-23 and under-18s team. I don't sign everyone that comes through the academy. I don't see the point. But I have spent a bit of time trying to find some youngsters. There's a couple of decent ones in there, but I was signing players mainly from League One and Championship clubs, trying to find their best youngsters, because the Premier League ones, they just cost so much money if you want to sign them, like 16, 17-year-olds. They're just ridiculously expensive. So I'll talk you through those. But leaving the club is our Ukrainian central midfielder Tarasenko, who's moved to Crystal Palace for £16.5 million, which is a decent profit on a player that was average for us. He picked up lots of assists, mainly because he took corners. So I think that's a pretty good sell. I know a few people said he didn't look particularly good. I always quite liked his attributes, but for whatever reason he didn't really perform for the club. Tasakovic, bit of a club icon, I would say, because he spent two different spells at the club. First time was on loan, of course, for 2 seasons. Came back to us for £4.6 million. And the last 4 seasons, he's done all right. But I think it was time to let him go. And for £19 million to Cardiff, that is a lot of money for basically our third choice left fielder behind Lens and Simon Moore, who we signed in January, of course. So that made sense as well. Youngster going out on loan, pretty useless. Sorry, Anthony. Bruno Agra has gone for 8.75 million, potentially rising to 11 depending on clauses. Unfortunately, we're having to pay the majority of his wages. He's like 21k a week, which is a hell of a lot. I don't know how long that is for, but The problem I found was I couldn't register everyone. Brexit on this game has been fairly hard, and there's rules and regulations, and I fitting the homegrown quota is pretty tough considering we don't have many players coming through from the youth ranks. So that's why another reason why I wanted to buy some youngsters, just to boost the English quota in our team. So Bruno Agra has gone. He spent 2 years here, was okay, and we've made a very good profit on him, to be honest. It was a bargain getting him for 1.4 million. And lastly, just another youngster going out on loan. There'll probably be a few going out on loan. Coming into the club then. So, first of all, Dmitri Chenko, a Ukrainian, replacing the Ukrainian Tarasenko. Of course, we've got Novak, the Ukrainian, on the right-hand side. There's a theme here. He looks really good. He's actually my best centre-back, according to my assistant. He's better than Isidoro Rodriguez, and we know how good he is. So he will probably play alongside Rodriguez. Rios has been a brilliant player at the back for us, but I think it's time to drop him down to being our third choice centre-back behind Rodriguez and Chenko. He's played for Dynamo Kiev for many years, and he's now only 24, 4 caps for Ukraine. Don't know why he's only got 4 caps considering how good he is, which is a bit bizarre really. But he does look exceptional. His physicals are very good. Next, Andrea Alessi's come back. Now, I've really struggled to find box-to-box midfielders, like real quality ones, that aren't going to cost £130 million. So I've got him back. I did actually offer Van den Broek out for like 30 million. No one wanted him. I wasn't willing to sell him for less than we paid, 25 million. Van den Broek had the injury problem. He's not really pushed on, and I think Alessi was actually better than him last year. But I still wanted to find a better player than those two, and I just couldn't find one. I have brought someone else in on loan as well, just an English player to make up the numbers. Next up, a really good free transfer, a bit of experience. A 33-year-old Mexican with 133 caps for his country. He's still decent at the age of 33. He did move back to Mexico last season for 8.75 million after spending quite a few years in Europe. Moved to Dortmund, Barcelona, a couple of years there, didn't really work out for him. Moved to Wolves, played in the Premier League for many years before moving back. But he's probably going to be third choice, and I haven't registered him. He's the one player that misses out. He's not happy. So he'll play in the Cups. He might play some Champions League group stage matches. I bought him early. I signed him early on in the season, early on in the transfer window. He was free, and I thought, I just have to go for him. And the next one is probably going to be backup for Kotasek, the Mexican, a Spaniard who's got 8 caps for his country at the age of 28, which is really tough to get in the Spanish team. He probably played for them when he was playing for Athletic Bilbao, but then moved to Atletico Madrid, and they just didn't play him consistently. £31 million transfer, and we've got him for free. But he has spent the last 4 seasons not really playing much football, but he does look good. But he is probably going to be backup for Kotasek. I mean, I could play Kotasek as the box-to-box midfielder because he could certainly do a job there, a very good job. And then play Martinez as the deep line playmaker. That is an option. So we'll see. We'll see how the season progresses and what we do. Laurent is back, but I've signed him permanently from Real Madrid for £10.5 million, which I think is a bargain for a 22-year-old Belgian international. He was all right last year. He wasn't spectacular, but he was decent. So he's just a bargain. I thought I have to snap him up for that. I'm not going to find a better right back for that amount of money. Another player coming from Real Madrid is Fran. On loan, 21-year-old Spanish left back. He's going to be back up for Matt Smith. He's okay at this stage. He obviously can develop, but we won't benefit from that unless we sign him permanently. Matt Smith, of course, is first choice. He had not so good a season last year. Average rating did dip compared to the previous year when he almost won the Player of the Season award. You guys voted Navarrete as Player of the Season award last year, by the way. But yeah, he will be first choice, but Fran is a capable backup. Now, this is probably the best transfer of the summer. In fact, it definitely is. Boris. He does have a last name, but his first name's Boris, so we've nicknamed him Boris. 18 caps, 3 goals for Bulgaria at the age of 21. Look at him. He's a right winger. He's going to be playing ahead of Novak. We've got 2 very good choices at right wing. I've tried to find a better left winger because I wasn't entirely happy with Simon Moore and Lenz as our options, but I just couldn't find anyone that was the right amount of money. In terms of wages, we are at the limit. But although we have £97 million to spend, so I could do that. But we'll save that. It's always good to save. We like to save. We like to make sure we've got a bit of a cushion. But I do like Boris. He signed for Leeds last year and did very well, average rating wise in the Premier League, 7.19. Really impressive. 10 assists, 7 goals. Big money. You know, we could have got him for free last year if I'd known about him. But yeah, I think he's an exceptionally talented right winger. So next few players are all youngsters coming in. Some of them really don't have much potential. Matt Harvey, a goalkeeper, has got okay potential. He's technically better than Okoro right now. Tommy Bailey, a striker, also doesn't really have potential. We want to try and unlock that. But as I said, I just wanted to bring a lot of players in for low fees, low wages. Some of them will have their wages going up when they hit the age of 17. But yeah, George Clark, 400k from Reading. Yeah, I want to boost the under-23 team, make them a bit more competitive, give them some better quality players. It just makes sense, I think, to do that at this stage when I've got so much money to spend, but I just couldn't really find an amazing player for the first team to come in, other than Boris, I suppose, and our centre-back. Alan Doran coming in from Blackburn. I think he's a target. No, he's a poacher and a target man. Mike Thomas, 300k from Birmingham. So these players look poor to average at best, but you know the reason why I've signed them now. That's why. I just want to boost the under-23 team. This guy's probably the worst one. I don't really know why I signed him. The best one is Bob. No, actually, there's two that are decent. Bobby Mensah-Richard. It's not even Richard. It's Bitchard. Bobby Mensah-Bitchard has come from Fulham. $750,000, but he's got potential to be a good player. He's got finishing ability, technique, good flair, decent physicals. He's only 16, remember. He's good. The most expensive one is Joel Kenny, who likewise has that 3-star potential. Physically, very impressive. He's a pressing forward, but certainly could be an advanced forward with those stats as well. Those attributes, sorry. Already 2-star quality. He's actually better than Mark Ball up front right now, technically, according to my assistant. So that's interesting. Mark Ball will stay in the first team, but Joel Kenny's actually better. Aaron Barnes from Bristol City was actually wanted by a few teams, but doesn't seem to. To be fair, my assistant might not be having a look at him. Might not realise how much potential he actually has. And lastly, Ricky Kirkwood. This is a long video. I've been rambling, but I've been a while, so hopefully you're enjoying this. Ricky Kirkwood on loan from Southampton, just down the road. Now I was panicking. I wanted to get a box-to-box midfielder. I was probably going to sell Van den Broek. Well, I'm hoping to sell Van den Broek, and I wanted to get an English player in to be able to register them and fit everything in perfectly. But in the end, it didn't happen. I was tempted not to register either Alessi or Van den Broek, but in the end it was Reynoso that misses out. And he's a quality player. I mean, I probably shouldn't have loaned Kirkwood in the end, but we need cover. We've got a lot of competitions to take part in this season. We need a big squad. I think I'm pretty happy with what we have available to us for all the competitions. Of course, we've got the Hampshire Senior Cup as well, so the under-23s will feature in that quite heavily, and any other players that don't play league games. So I'm pretty happy with the squad. As you can see, wage-wise, we are paying a lot of money nowadays. Almost £2 million a week, which is crazy growth from where we were. Navarrete's wage was put up to 160k because of a clause in his contract when he reached 5 Spanish caps. But he's worth it because he is so good. He's so important to our system. The money I'm not too happy about paying. Simon Moore, a lot of money, but it was because he was playing for Man City, so he expected high wages. He was all right in his first 6 months at the club. I do expect more from him, and he's our first choice left winger, so he needs to be better. Is there anything else to show you? Let me think. Finances, that's where we are. Obviously spent a load of money. Although, looking at it, we spent, my face is in the way, we spent 68 million and sold 44.5 million pounds worth. So, not a huge amount of net spent this summer. Looking at the team report, this is always fairly interesting. We've still got a fairly young team, 26 compared to the Premier League average of 27. If we look at the comparison, we certainly have improved overall, haven't we? Goalkeeper-wise, Antonello, of course, with Adrian Smith as backup. Not bad. Defence, best heading in the league. Midfield, not bad. Vision's quite low. And technique. Attacking-wise, I think it often is let down by some of the other players I leave in the first team, like Mark Ball, for example. Although Mark Ball's obviously got finishing ability, but his physicals have certainly gone down in recent times. But yeah, as a team, we've certainly improved, haven't we? So Leeds United away from home is the first game of the season. We are not the favourite. No, we are the favourite, sorry. 6-4 favourites, yes. So, let's get on with this. Before we do start then, question of the day. Let me know in the comment section below. Out of the new signings, who's your favourite? Who do you think is going to make the biggest impact this season? Stick it below. Let me know. Here we go then. So, Leeds lining up with a 4-2-3-1. They've had some quality players over the years, haven't they, that we faced them. And they still have some decent ones. A young Serbian international on the right-hand side. Remember Chidi playing behind, Nigerian on the left. Eduardo, Argentinian. They do have some decent-looking players. I think we've got the better team. Boris is making his competitive debut for the club. In fact, I didn't really talk you through the pre-season results. I did briefly show them. How do I get back? Here we go. So, yeah, really good. 4-0, 5-0, 4-0, 1-0, 1-1 against Southampton, 3-0 win against Burton, 1-0 win against Leipzig, 2-0 win against Boca Juniors. No testimonials in the summer were available to be played. Bit of a tour of Belgium, as you can see there, which went very well. So yeah, good pre-season. Boris makes his competitive debut today though. Alessi starting alongside Kotasek in the middle with Simon Moore on the left. Anthony and Navarrete at front. Anthony's still here. Still think he's the better option to play alongside Navarrete. But Safet Kalechi I didn't sign any strikers apart from the youngsters to go into the under-23 team. Antonello in goal, of course, quality goalkeeper. Although his star rating has gone down in comparison to the rest of the team because of the players I've signed. So he's not like he's gone downhill. It's just the rest of the team has improved. Laurent makes his second debut kind of for the club, back on loan. Andrei Chenko makes his competitive debut for the club. Laurent makes his debut for the club as a Regen Rovers player. That's what I meant, as like an official Regen Rovers player. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. I've got the same tactic. I was tempted to change things, but I thought, why not? We know it works. So let's stick with it. For those of you that watch my Salzburg series will know I produced some insane gegenpress tactic. It really was. If you haven't checked out the Salzburg series, go and check it out. It's only 11 episodes long, so it's not too long. I know it's not Regen Rovers, but still, it was a lot of fun. Some entertaining football. Oh, this is so much smoother. There's no problems with the match engine, like the optimization. FN20, I really hope for the full release. My computer. It's not my computer, it's the game. That's the problem. But there's literally nothing wrong with FM19, which is good to know. It's not my computer dying a death. That's cleared. Up the pitch. Andrei Chenko into Alessi. To Kotasek, our Mexican, who was sensational in his first season for the club. Simon Moore crosses it in. And Anthony finishes brilliantly. Yes, he always has a good start to the season. Tends to dip off in the middle and then has a good end. Hopefully that doesn't happen again this year. Want him to continue to score. We want a striker that can get 30 goals in a season. How many did Navarrete get last year? He was our top goal scorer, wasn't he? He was impressive, Navarrete, last year. Nice finish. Quiet first half, but we've got another highlight at the end here. Oh, brought down brilliantly by Boris. Look at Boris go. Oh, it's fallen to Kotasek, who smashes it over, but have we got Navarrete's injured? That is not good. So I bring on Safet Kalechi. Bad start to the season for Navarrete. He's going to have to go off with a tight calf, apparently. We don't want that getting worse. Isidore Rodriguez mops up at the back, plays it back to Antonello, who clears long, but it's given away. But Alessi takes charge. Navarrete now, still on the pitch, finds Kotasek. Charging at the back line, still going. He's found Simon Moore, who can cross it in, and Kotasek. Brilliant 1-2 between those two. We're 2-0 up. We cut through leads so easily there. The quality of Kotasek shines through. Simon Moore involved as well, which is good to see. He's off the mark with an assist. The first goal was created by him as well, but he didn't get the assist because it came off Ali's defender. But lovely play between those two. And it was so simple in the end, wasn't it? Good, solid first half of football in our first game in our 19th season. 19th season. Now, my plans are, if we win the Premier League and Champions League this year, that's the end. I would ideally like to win both of them before the series ends. So it might go on for a few more seasons, depending on how we get on. Spurs are so dominant. They won the Premier League and the Champions League again last season. They just keep doing it. They're just ridiculous. They've signed, I think, 2 of the 3 most expensive signings in the summer were made by them as well. They keep improving their team. They've had a couple elderly players that they've got rid of. I was looking to sign one of them, but he wanted ridiculous amounts of money. Like 200k a week, and he's like 34 and he's a right back. It just wouldn't have made sense. So I got Laurent back on a permanent instead. Wow, second half been very quiet and very boring. Alessi's going to come off. I'm actually going to try this. Kodicek did very well charging forwards as the deep line playmaker. Just imagine what he can do as the box to box midfielder. Martinez comes on for Alessi then, and they switch round. And last sub, I will take off Moore, who's done very well, and bring on Torsten Lenz for the last 5 minutes. This should be a comfortable win, unless they can produce a dramatic comeback in the last few minutes. And they do have a bit of possession here. Here's Roberts crossing it in. Oh, it's a goal, but it's offsides. It just froze. That does happen on FM19, though, to me. It freezes just before the goal. That's like the one issue that I've had throughout FM19, and I'm not really sure why it happens, but it does every now and then. Wow, a comfortable win. A very boring second half, but a 2-0 solid win. Clean sheet. Anthony's off the mark. Kodicek's off the mark. Man of the match for him as well. Easy. Really easy, and that bodes well for the rest of the season. A good away win against not a bad team in Leeds. So, when will the next episode be? Who knows? Maybe the first Champions League game of the season would make sense. Navarrette's out for only 2 days. That is fine. So I'm glad I took him off when I did, just in case there was a further injury. So Cardiff next. Aston Villa. Then the big challenge is Liverpool and Spurs. Spurs is huge. I might actually show that because they are our biggest rival. Although you'll probably see a 3-0 defeat because they are just so good. It's so unfair what they have won recently. Who's in charge anyway these days? Niko Kovac has been in charge for 10 years and he's won 15 cups and 4 league titles. Where's the competitions? There we go. Champions League, 3 years in a row. Runners up twice in his reign as well. Premier League 4 times in a row. They've just turned into this super overpowered team. They've won the FA Cup in recent years, a couple times in the last 6 years. They haven't. Where's the League Cup? League Cup's down. Yeah, they've won that twice in the last 4 years. They just so overpowered. I don't. What are they spending on wages? Look at all the players. So our highest earning player is Navarrete on 160. Their 160 is all the way down here. Look at all these players with ridiculous wages. They've certainly got rid of their old wage structure that they used to have, haven't they? Anyway, thank you for watching today's episode. Really good start to the season. I hope you're pleased that Regen Rovers is back. If you are, hit that like button. Be much appreciated. I always forget to ask, but it does help. It helps with the YouTube algorithms. So that would be very nice if you could do that. If you've never hit the subscribe button, let's say you always just search Regen Rovers on YouTube or Golden FM, rather than seeing subscriptions in whatever, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell button as well so you get notifications of my videos. So I think it will either ping one to your phone if you're on your phone and you've hit that notification button, possibly emails as well. So you will know when a Regen Rovers video comes out. You'll know when all my other videos come out as well, but you'll see, oh, Paul's released the Regen Rovers video today. I'm going to go and watch that immediately. And you might want to ignore everything else that I upload, but that's fair enough. But it just enables you, it just lets you know, because I know what with YouTube these days, even if you're subscribed, you don't always see when someone's uploaded a new video. It depends on what you've been watching recently, all the algorithms, and on your home screen. Does anyone really click on the subscription feed these days? Because I very occasionally do, but not very often. I tend to just go off what is on the home screen, what's suggested to me. It's all about suggestions. So if you hit the notification bell, it means you're more likely to find out that I've uploaded. I still think there's a weird thing with the notification bell where you can you might only be notified occasionally. So I think there is like a drop down option where you can say I want to be notified all the time. It's just so YouTube have made it so difficult for people. This is a bit of a rant for people to find out that their favourite YouTuber has uploaded a video. It's just so annoying. And what with them taking it away from Twitter, I used to have automatically a tweet go out whenever a video was uploaded, but they removed that feature. And I don't really go on Twitter a huge amount now on my Golden FM Twitter. So I mean, I'm not someone that's just going to post all my videos on there. So yeah, I mean, I suppose the best way to do it is just look on my YouTube channel every day. But if you can't be bothered to do that, notifications is probably the best thing to do. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. It's much appreciated. That's the wrong video thing to end with. I'll advertise another video that's about my insane Salzburg tactic. What am I looking for? This one. Yeah. See you later.